Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're diving back into some more SkyFactory One, and I really hope you guys brought your Autocrafting seatbelts because, oh, you're gonna need it. So on today's docket is going to be refined storage, almost number one. I want to get Autocrafting basically all prepped up and ready to go. We're also going to move some crafts around. We're going to get this looking really nice here on the main island. This main section is going to be the hub, believe it or not, for refined storage. We're going to have it all set up right here, all nice and neat, and there's going to be some cool stuff going on. Autocrafts, however, are going to take place across the island. We are going to be moving cables and stuff all through the island over here, getting this thing going. Now, let's talk about some stuff that I did off camera. Believe it or not, I do a few things off camera when I feel like it. This right here. You may be wondering what this is. Well, I felt a little weird just having all of my storage built up in there, and I was already needing to make another 64K drive. Yeah, I don't want to keep continuing to need to do that. So I went ahead and took all the ores, and I'm having them processed here. You may be wondering, how am I getting them sorted? Let's talk a little bit about that. So I upgraded to advanced item collectors, and advanced ones allow you to do filters where you can whitelist and blacklist. So on this main inner chest, which goes directly into the system, I have this blacklisting the ores and flint from the list. So the things that were basically taking up the most space. This is still pulling from a 9x9. And then this right here, I had to extend its range a little bit to accept the area. But this one is whitelisting where it only pulls these particular items. Now, technically, you probably wouldn't need to set this up because, I mean, I believe it'll only pull what it can accept anyways. So it'd only be able to fill up what's in these. So that wouldn't be a problem. But unfortunately, the buffer, the filter is only this big. I wish there was like a filter card. That'd be kind of nice. But I didn't really see one of those. And you also might notice this. So I noticed I was automating everything, right? All this stuff is going all well and smooth, except for I was like, I'm not getting any quartz. Oh no. So because I wasn't getting quartz, I was like, oh, I got to set up a system for this. So this was something I set up real quick. It's basically the same thing that we did before, except it's automated. So I have the mycelium underneath all of these. This is turning it into witch water. As soon as it's full of witch water, it is being pulled into here as soul sand. So sand is coming from here, going into them. On the outside, this is pulling, taking it as soul sand on here. And this is just feeding this with water. Super, super simple. Yeah, I was also planning on taking this and having ores that are crafted go into this, or I could have the ores go into here, but I honestly feel like there's going to be a little bit of a problem if I have them going directly into like a crusher over here. We're going to run into an issue where only one thing is going to work. So that is where the automation for refined storage is going to come into play today. So to make this all work, I decided to go ahead and place down an elevator and build myself a little platform that is directly underneath here. This is going to allow me to just set up basic wiring all through the bottom, just like this. And this is going to reach out into these areas over here, all four sides. And it's just low enough that it makes it super easy for me to walk underneath. Now, elevators, if you want to hide this, these are kind of temporary here. But if you do want to hide them, you can get like dark oak, like so long as you remember where it's at. And you can right-click an item on them to actually hide the elevator, believe it or not. And then you can just shift right click with an empty hand to unhide it if you so feel like it. It's a really, really nice feature. I think, yeah, there's even the ability for you to make it directional. So if you're like facing this way, right? We open the map and we see we're facing to the west. Let's see. Yeah, this is facing to the west, and we want to face to the north. Or actually, we want this facing west, don't we? So we'll set this to west. It just tracks the direction that I guess you accessed it. Yeah. Oh, that's even better. It tracks the direction you accessed it from. So basically, you just pick the direction that you want to go from the menu. That's actually really nice. And you can hide the arrow. And what this is going to do is, if we go down here and we set this one to directional, and we say always face that way. If we're turned this way and we go back up, because we set this one directional, it's going to face us the way that we have it defined in the menu here. So same thing over here. It's going to face me the correct way. I really like that. I like the idea of that. Also, you can see the remove camouflage option there. But anyways, that's just the elevators. That's really, 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 really simple. Now, refined storage and the auto crafting. The first thing that I need to auto craft is going to be refined storage components. That is 100% the first thing we need to do. But what I also have to do is I have to basically make a separate redstone furnace and pulverizer, because we need a redstone pulverizer and furnace that is going to be exclusively for processing ores. And then we'll have another setup with the redstone furnace and pulverizer for doing very specific tasks like pulverizing and so on and so forth. And then we'll eventually make it for the multi-servo press and all that fun stuff. So let's get all those basic components set up so we can at least automate cooking things. So you may be thinking to yourself, Chosen, you don't have flight. How are you just going to build a cobblestone like bridge all under your base? Like, is that something you're going to do? No, that's just not. That's where this anti-gravity ring is going to come in handy, because I can just walk off the edge. Oh, you thought I was going to fall, didn't you? Nope, I can just walk straight off the edge, even hit shift to go down. I need to basically get this cable routed all the way over here. Yeah, I could use ways of not doing it this way, like, but it's going to cost way more power. And you know what? I just don't want to be lazy this time. I'm actually going to place the cables like up under this whole thing and route them all the way over here so that we're lined up directly. I need to keep an eye out on this. This does take durability. You notice the durability is slowly going down, but there's 4,000 of it, so we should be pretty good. I'm going to carry this all the way over here. And this is where it's really going to become important, because I need to actually, you know what? We probably could take this back a little bit. Actually, let's stop it here. And that way I can go ahead and route this. There we go. Through the backside, because I believe that, yeah, it's definitely going to travel along this direction right here. Also, if you're wondering how to make this, we made it last episode whenever we made all this other armor stuff. So definitely check that out. So the reason I'm setting this up is because right here is a pulverizer, and then right here is a redstone furnace. These are going to be automated. And then we're going to have some special automation on this redstone furnace and then this pulverizer. These are going to be set up for full automation, whereas the other ones are going to be set up for auto crafting. So that's the difference on those. I love this tool. This actually works great for a skyblock. Like, could we even use this to fight the dragon? You guys were telling me in the comments that the dragon, the end does not have endstone, so it's just void, other than your platform you spawn on. So we could potentially just use this thing. Like, we wouldn't even need any kind of creative flight. Like, this right here would work. Anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a couple of crafters. And like I said, we are going to need crafters for auto crafting our auto crafts, or refined storage. You know what I mean. We're going to be using this to basically craft its own components, and we have to set that up first. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty difficult for us to be like, hey, I need a exporter. No, I don't have one. I have to manually make it. So I want to set up ways to be able to automate that. Not a huge deal, but definitely something that you always have to do when working with refined storage, and even applied logistics. I would do that. So what are some things we need to automate? Well, we definitely need to automate these processors 100%. So that's why I have that separate furnace, and we're going to need to place that crafter connected to this. Now, we don't have a pattern grid yet. We're not making patterns just yet, but we will be soon. I believe I can place this. I need to make sure that my cable is able to reach. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have a crafter placed directly onto the not onto the pulverizer, wrong machine. Look at that. I'm already getting flopped up here. We need on the redstone furnace. So yeah, cable. We can place the block behind it just to get it to face the right way. You can use there's a special kind of hammer that you can use for this as well. Or a wrench that lets you rotate it as well. And then I'm just going to use a cable, and we're going to have a importer that's going to go on the top here. I think that's going to be the cleanest look that we can get, with power going to the bottom and so on and so forth. It covers up the hole, and yeah, it looks rather clean to me. So let's go ahead and get that importer. Same situation that we're using over here. Consider this your main network, or consider this like a chest, right? You're putting things into the chest, so you need an importer. If you're going to take things out, you're going to be exporting. So remember that. That's the easiest way to remember what an importer / exporter does. Even I get them confused sometimes. It's just life, right? So importer should be very simple to make. There we go. And then we're going to work on getting the patterns going. This is just so I can, this is probably the most important machine right here. Let's go ahead and configure this. It's super simple. Auto input and out. We need to make sure the back is set to input. This is the back, by the way. And the top is set to output. Seems weird, but it works. This is going to work, and it should be rather quick as well. Now, just a little hint to those who maybe have been watching other Let's Plays that I've done that involved refined storage. This pack does not have extra cells or extra storage. So we don't have like the iron crafter and things like that in here. There's just not a lot extra in this pack. It's really meant to be like a bare bones, just like the original was. Refined storage really was the thing back then. I guess it would be the equivalent, I guess. But anyways, so our crafters don't have extra space. So if we do run out of space to put things in over there, we'll have to add another crafter to it or make a separate smelter specifically for a crafter, right? So that's just something I wanted to point out. Let's go ahead and make that wrench, by the way. This is why I needed all that quartz, because we were going to be working on this. And I noticed, I was like, we have no quartz. What am I going to do? I want these to face a certain way, just because I like the way they look when they're faced like that. I think it looks a little bit better. But yeah, this face, if you put it on a machine, allows processing stuff to happen. So one of the big things we are going to need is a pattern grid. This right here, of course, requires a regular grid. And then we need the pattern part, which means we need patterns. We also need to autocraft patterns, all of that fun stuff. And then I'm going to place that right here for right now. That way it's out of the way. So first thing on the agenda, we need patterns. So yeah, we need to autocraft these. So our first autocraft should probably be patterns. Notice it said glass, and look at that. It went perfect. Like, this is actually regular glass, and I can leave that on exact. I kind of want it. So let's put our pattern in, and then we'll lock the pattern in for patterns. There we go. That's our first craft. We've done it. We've successfully auto-crafted. I can clap now. Okay. So now that I have all of that stuff done, we can start working on here. Now, you can't just click on the items anymore. Refined storage has changed a little bit. You actually have to use R to click it on the recipe now, because they added the feature where you could just drag things in here now to build your recipes if you really wanted to. But we're going to do this. We're going to start off with this one. I'm going to leave it to slime balls. That's exact. Let's actually go in here and search patterns. Let's go ahead and craft like 10 of them, right? It's not going to be super fast, but it'll get the job done for right now. There we go. Slowly crafting 10, even though we're going to need more than that. I'm going to go ahead and do like 20, 30. Oh, we're missing glass. So these are things we're going to have to set up autocrafts for. We're going to work on that. So let's go ahead and get this process set up. And we're going to also make this. All of these need to kind of get crafted first. And then once they're crafted, they can be smelted. So these are going to be crafting recipes. They can go inside of a crafter. Now we're about to make processing recipes with the basic processor. So we need to smelt this. So when you click on that, it's going to automatically switch over to processing. And that's awesome because these are really nice to get set up for that particular process. Nice. Look at that. Another thing we're going to need is also silicon. Bam. We need to make sure we set up on the proper craft. And there we go. Now we can take these. Oh, also, we probably want glass as well. We probably want to set up an auto craft for that. This right here, alternatives. Let's do forged sand. I think that would work just fine. And we'll set that. That should be tagged for forged sand. It should work regardless. Yeah, it says red sand, but let's see, alternatives. Forged sand is selected, which should do both. Yeah, that should work. Anyways, that's a weird thing that you might encounter. You can directly switch it over if you really wanted to, but that's what I'm gonna work with. Is that all I needed? Oh, I also need refined storage. We need to craft this. Auto craft the enriched iron. So that's going to be a regular pattern craft that's going to go here. All right, let's throw all of this into our crafter back here, and we're basically ready to go. The only thing that's going to slow this machine down is honestly the crafter itself. it will need speed upgrades inside here to make this push things in faster, and then this will need speed upgrades to pull things out faster. So those are things we need to keep in mind. But as of right now, when I searched for patterns earlier, like notice we're out of patterns, I should be able to now say 10, telling me I'm missing some sand. We're going to work on that as well. We're going to get some sand populated. But I can just go grab some sand for right now from our resources over here. So let me show you this really cool feature that you may not know exists in refined storage now. It is fantastic, and I really haven't had the chance to kind of show it off. So let's take a look here. I think for the moment, I have just about everything that we need in order to craft a machine for the most part, like all of our little components and stuff, but I don't have any machines set up yet to craft automatically. I'm going to need another crafter for that. So what I should be able to do is actually search crafter, and then when I click on crafter, I should be able to basically pull these items out automatically and have them autocraft. So let's check this out. Let's see. If I search, let's see, I didn't actually do it, so I'm kind of confused of why it did not work. Unless my cabling is not working. Let's see. We should be hooked up. Is it seeing my improved processor crafts? It is. So yeah, let's check on the crafter itself. Oh, it's because I have the items. But if I didn't have the items, then it would be able to do it. Let me see. Is there anything that, like if I take the items out, for example, and put them in this chest, I really want to show off this feature. So yeah, we have none of the components right now. So if I throw this in this chest, and then I go to craft the crafter, notice it shows this in blue as we hover over it, and these are like an orange color. That blue means it's going to perform the auto craft when I click this. It is going to automatically perform an auto crafting request, which is fantastic. So I'm going to hold control and click this, and look, it automatically lets me pull up the list instead of me going in here manually and like clicking the things that I need. This feature, oh man, it's the icing on the cake that is the reason why I absolutely love refined storage in its current version. And I would, yeah, it's so good. It's honestly like, this is amazing. I love this. This is like storage made simple and really, really usable. So how about we play around with some interfaces? These are actually fairly new to me, even though I think they've been in here. I just don't remember the interface like ever existing, because I've never really used them, even though they're super useful for the process that I'm about to set up here. So instead of this being like an ugly mess with an exporter and an importer, we can set this up all in one block with an interface. So what I'm going to be doing is automating ore production over here, right? So I want ores to automatically go inside the pulverizer, and then I want the results to go back into the network, and then send all of the pulverized stuff into the redstone furnace over here for automation, and to send those bad boys right back into the system. So this is where an interface is actually really handy for that. Now, I guess like we have the import and we have the interface export. I'm assuming with these that we just configure the system to operate in the proper fashion. So right here on the back, it's going to be set to input and output. And same for this, input and output. And let's go try this. I'm going to go ahead and just set up a basic scenario. For example, we have 64 iron chunks, and I say I want the export, which is going to be pulling out of the system. I want that to go in here, right? And then the import, I don't have to define the import. I just want everything that goes into here to go into here. So let's try this. This should automatically pull out the stack of iron, right? We have all of the iron in there. Notice it's being used, and it's going in here one at a time, which I guess is fine. And then the result is the dust that's building up. That is working perfectly. And then the same thing over here. I'm going to set the input over here for export. And the result is iron that's going to go in. And that's ore processing right there. Super simple with these interfaces. So the only other thing left to do to set up the automation for this is to hop down here. I bet that gets you every time. Probably like, oh no, Chosen, you're about to fall down the hole. And then I don't. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the bottom. Oh man. Well, that's going to be a little more difficult than I thought. Holding shift while doing this is not easy. External storage. So there we go. Like bounce up and down. So yeah, I need to run this cable. For some reason that wouldn't let me connect to it. I got to run this all the way over here. This should be a pretty straight shoot. All the way. There we go. Perfect. And this is going to hook directly into our storage. Now, the thing that I probably want to do is set a priority of 1. That's going to be a little higher than normal. And we also have the mode, insert, and extract, because whenever, with it being a priority of 1, I want that material to go in there first instead of going into our digital storage. That is going to be the ultimate goal here. So the only other thing left for me to do is, well, get this going. Now, I don't know. Let me check the ore here. Does it matter if it's a stack? Oh, it does. So we can basically define, hey, keep a stack in here. And it's going to keep it in this interface. And it's going to export a stack at a time. That's interesting. That's actually a lot better. This is still not super fast, but it will eventually get through the processed materials. And everything else, I want the main product to go into our main storage. So you may see it in here, but technically, it's still stuck in the drawers, which is perfect. Exactly what way I want this set up. So I've been spending quite a bit of time automating stuff, because usually when I do, I get wrapped up in actually automating as much as I possibly can. And here's just a good example of that. Yeah, I'm working on now automating the industrial foregoing machines, the dissolution chambers. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to do this, because it is probably one of the more confusing, like, automation or autocrafts, just simply because of how the machines function. They don't work the same as like everything else. So you have to have sort of a buffer chest. Let me kind of talk about that here in a second. I have all of them now set up, and they should be working perfect. So the way that these work is, because you have to set the craft on lock, you can really only have 1 craft going on per machine. So as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 machines set up. And these are going to be doing specific tasks. And of course the cables are on top. Pink slime is really only used for one thing. And this will be set up for automation of crafting the advanced machine frames. So we're going to use one of these for crafting simple machine frames, autocrafts. And then over here will be the result for the advanced machine frame. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I say straightforward, but there are still some things that we have to set up on these. So at the moment, I have chests behind here. That is going to allow the crafter to spit the items into this, but I still have to get the items from the dissolution chamber out of here as well. So that's a whole other thing that I've got to set up. So I think I've come up with a plan that should work for this. I'm just going to need chests for all the sides, and that should work. So I'm going to set all of the chests up just like so. So we're going to step down. I'm going to have the chest facing this way, and then I'm just going to use importers to pull out of the chest. However, I do need to get the power cables run back in here, but I'm going to set the power cables up once I get these cables laid out. Talk about some clean looking cable work. Man, look at how clean that is underneath there. And all of that is set up with some automation. Man, this is going to function just, perfect. All I got to do is get those crafts set up. So here's a problem that you might run into, and I just noticed it as well. So unless you are using refined storage to place fluids into containers, which you can do, it just makes, I just think it makes autocrafting a little bit more complicated as far as the recipes go. But you have to definitely check here. So I'm setting up the autocraft for this, for example. And notice it doesn't tell you anything about the fluids until you click here, and notice that it's saying it's going to require a little bit of latex. I'm actually going to remove the latex from the craft, so that way we get a proper craft setup. Otherwise, whenever you go to process this and actually craft it, it's gonna like freak out because you don't have the fluid in the system. Same for this one. It's gonna require pink slime. You don't want that, so we're gonna go ahead and remove those. And that's basically it for setting up Autocrafting. I have all the materials that are gonna be required for this. As you can see, I've definitely been doing some work on Autocrafts. Oh my goodness. But yeah, these processes are gonna save us so much time when we go to play around with more Industrial 4 going. So if all the automation is true and is going to work, I need to set this particular recipe up and get it running. So if we change our mode over here to display, we can set this to only craftables. And I'm going to try my best to craft an advanced machine from here. And if I start this, what we should see is this turning on, getting all the items that it should have in it. I'm going to lock it. That's going to make it the easiest way to do this. And we should be good. So this is just making one. So once this is actually crafted, this over here should have received its items. Maybe it will only receive its items once. Yes, it's fully been processed. Okay, so there we go. I think that's pretty darn good proof that it works. And as soon as it's done, it's going to put it in this chest, which will immediately go into our refined storage network. And we should have ourselves an advanced crafter. Set this back to normal. And there it is. Perfect. An advanced machine. All on Autocraft. This is why this is so powerful and so worth your time. So guys, did you learn something this episode? If you did, be sure to comment down below what you did enjoy. And of course, guys, I do want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video. And that is going to be a ginormous thanks to Box of Biscuits 97. Thank you so much for your amazing support over on Patreon. And guys, of course, if you're interested in becoming a Patreon yourself, you can find that linked down in the description below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to smack that subscribe button if you haven't already. We are so close. Like, I can almost smell the 500,000 subscriber mark. Think you guys are absolutely amazing, and we are so close to hitting that. Oh my goodness. And while you're smacking that subscribe button, you might as well hit that thumbs up button as well. Guys, I really appreciate it. Of course, I will see you in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.